If you have ever thought about becoming a content creator and living your dream life, well, listen up. There has honestly never been a better time to become a content creator than right now. So if you guys have had that lingering thought in the back of your head, you've been thinking about this yourself, well, this video is for you. So I'm gonna be sharing with you guys all of the steps that you need to take to become a content creator, and you could be living your dream life in just a few short months. And I'm super excited to announce that today's video is also sponsored by Henry's, which is honestly my favorite place to get gear from as a creator. So whether I'm shopping on henrys.com or going in store, where talking to one of their experts there has honestly been a huge help when I've been looking for a new lens or a new camera to test out. I've honestly spent a lot of time in there talking to the people who are working, and they're always really knowledgeable and give me great advice. You can also buy a range of things in there, from cameras, lenses. I got my favorite travel backpack from the Henry store in Vancouver, and I still use it to this day. It's honestly awesome. So click the link in the description to check out henrys.com for all the gear you're going to need as a new creator, and let's get started. So the very first thing that you're going to need to become a content creator is to get some gear to shoot on. So I'm just heading over to henrys.com to show you guys some of my absolute essentials when starting out. So first things first is a camera. Now, obviously you can shoot on your phone, and with technology on phones these days, that's really easy to do. However, it is nice to have a high quality camera that you can shoot on. I'm currently shooting here on the Canon M50 that has a flip out screen, and what's really nice with that is I can actually see myself and what I am shooting. You can also obviously shoot vertical videos with it, so a bit higher quality. Oftentimes when I shoot with my phone, I'll either use the front camera, which doesn't necessarily have the best camera, and usually it's a little lower quality, or I can shoot with the back camera, but then you can't see where you're shooting. So having a camera with a viewfinder is honestly a lot easier. So when finding cameras, you basically have two options. You can go for a DSLR, or you can go for a mirrorless camera. Now, mirrorless cameras are kind of the way of the future, so I personally would recommend going for one like that. So as you can see here, there are a ton of different types of mirrorless cameras. Now, what I normally will do when deciding on a camera is I'll actually hop onto YouTube, watch a whole bunch of reviews. You obviously have to decide what brand you want to go with. So me personally, I've shot a lot on Canon my whole life. However, there are a lot of other different great camera brands like Nikon, Fuji, there's also Olympus, Sony, which is a classic. And then what you can actually do on henrys.com as well is you can go to the left side, go twivel/tilt LCD, which basically means a flip out screen. You can go yes, and then you can see all of the ones that have that option, which will be key if you're gonna become a vlogger, because it's nice to be able to see what you're actually doing. Now, the next thing I would recommend is to buy a lens. Now, yes, the camera will come with a lens. However, usually the kit lenses might not be the best quality. It totally depends on the camera that you're buying. But that being said, it is kind of nice to have a second lens that you can play around with. Because I do a lot of vlogging, I like to get a wide angle lens. So the one I have on here now is an 11-22, which obviously is quite wide. You can see here it goes all the way in and all the way out. This is really great if you're vlogging, because you can obviously see I look like I have a very long arm. But that being said, you get a full range behind you. So I do actually love this setup, the M50 Canon with the 11-22 lens. Really great for vlogging. And then you can also flip it sideways and do TikToks or Reels or YouTube Shorts. The next thing I would definitely recommend to get is a tripod. Now, a tripod just allows you more freedom. You can also do the good old-fashioned way, which is you stack a bunch of boxes on top, balance your camera and hope it doesn't fall. However, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Am I doing that right now? Yes, I am, but you guys don't need to know that. But no, seriously, it's really good to invest in a tripod, and they're honestly not that expensive. You can get them for literally, there's one here for $13. So just having that piece of gear is quite nice. Obviously, if you have a bit of a heavier camera, you might want to get a higher quality tripod, but when starting out, you really don't need anything too fancy. And because they're more affordable, you can, replace it once you start actually making money from your content creation career. So kind of the key when thinking about buying all this gear is that you can upgrade it in the future. So this doesn't have to be your permanent gear that you're gonna have forever. And kind of cool, actually, Henry's does have a program where they'll buy your secondhand equipment, and then we'll give you an in-store credit, so then you can use that towards upgrading for your future gear. So honestly, it's a no-brainer to buy from them, because that is super awesome. And then you can start with an entry-level model for things, not shell out out thousands and thousands of dollars, which is stressful when you're not actually making money from doing content creation. So it's a great way to start, and then you can upgrade all of your gear to better stuff later. And then the last few things I'd recommend, if say for example, you're becoming a travel creator, getting a good camera bag is key. I use the Roots Shield camera backpack. I have used this a ton, honestly love it. I'll leave a link for this down below. And it's super versatile because you can change out the inside however you want it. And then the top actually folds down, but then also folds up. So there has been so many trips where I have had my bag like stuffed to the brim, and I'm still stuffing things in here. And because the bag's expandable, it makes it a lot easier for carrying it around. But that being said, if you guys aren't planning on doing any travel videos or anything like that, something I would consider getting if you're doing more in-studio stuff where you're sitting talking to the camera like I am now is lighting. So getting something like a ring light or a softbox light will definitely make your videos look a lot more professional, especially if you're shooting in an area that doesn't have much light. It's actually dark here right now, and I'm still able to shoot this video because I have good lighting around me. So definitely key when starting out, and it's just gonna make your videos look a lot more professional. Next, you wanna analyze other content creators' content, see what's working and see what's not. So I want to show you guys exactly what I mean by analyzing other creators' content. So we're gonna hop over to YouTube, and I'm gonna pull up a very popular YouTuber, which you'll probably know of, and we can look at some of his videos and see what is really working for him. All right, so hopping over to Peter McKinnon's channel. He's honestly one of my favorite creators to watch here on YouTube, but as you can see just from looking at his videos, he creates really eye-catching thumbnails with really searchable titles, which is honestly the key to success here on YouTube and any platform for that matter. So what I will usually go and do is just go and sort by popular, and you can go and look at different creators' top performing videos. Now what's really great about this is you can really see what's working on the platform. So say for example, if you are wanting to become a creator where you share photography tips, videography tips, then you can actually see what types of videos are really performing. Now, obviously you don't want to just go and copy what other people are doing. It's more just for your own research really, and to see what kind of videos work on which platform. What works really well on YouTube might not necessarily translate to TikTok. So you do have to do your research for the different platforms and really see what content is getting a lot of views. So that's going to make your life a lot easier when you're actually coming up with video ideas and titles, which we will talk about in a minute. Next step is to research SEO titles. Now, what does that mean exactly? I'm about to show you. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and basically what that means is how your video is going to get found on the internet and hopefully watched, which that is the goal, get some watch time. Now, there's a few different websites that you can do this on. vidIQ actually allows you to search for keywords, which is basically the words that people are searching when they're looking up a certain type of content. Now, a website I actually like a bit more than vidIQ is TubeBuddy, and I have this extension installed on my Google Chrome, and it's honestly awesome. So as you can see here, when we search in camera tips for beginners, when you go to the side, you can actually see in the search explorer tab from TubeBuddy is it will show you everything that someone has searched up related to that, and then it's also going to show you the ranking. So for example, camera tips for beginners actually isn't ranking that great. You can connect your channel through it, and then you can also see how it ranks for your own channel. So obviously if you're a new channel, you're not going to rank as high automatically as if someone like Peter McKinnon was posting, which he'd be at the top of the search results. But that being said, if you create a video that has a good searchable title, a good description, and everything else, you have actually a good chance of possibly landing on the first or second page of the YouTube search result. But as you can see here on YouTube, so we're searching camera tips for beginners. So that's not what people are searching when they're actually coming to YouTube. But let's try saying camera tips and tricks. So that's something that's actually coming in here. So I'm going to search that, and then I can see the overall score of this. So as you can see, it is excellent. So normally when I'm searching things, I honestly don't get an excellent score. So that means this would actually be a really good video to do something on. The key with titles is you want to have obviously the searchable title, and then you could have an emotional hook at the end. So it could say camera tips for beginners, and then in brackets say, you won't believe what they are, or you won't believe this one thing. You know what I mean? So it's really gauging that interest of the viewer. So the SEO title is for the search engine, and the emotional trigger is for the human. Planning a consistent filming schedule is key. This is not only going to keep you on track, but having structure, especially when you're working for yourself, is really important. Then you can put out consistent content, which is really what leads people to success in the social media space. And this kind of goes into my next point, which is to bulk edit and schedule your content. All right, I've come on location and I'm gonna show you guys how you can actually film multiple videos in one day. And the key to this is being super organized. So you wanna write out in your notes your shot list and have exactly what you're gonna film for each video. So say for example, if you find a certain area that you want to film in, you wanna have all of your shots written out so then you know when you get there exactly what you need to shoot. And then to get multiple platforms in one setting is you also want to write that out as well. So say for example, you have a YouTube shot list, you have a TikTok shot list, maybe it's the same as the Reel shot list, maybe it's different. And that one is obviously going to be filmed vertically. So you're going to need to once again flip your camera this way and make sure you're shooting it vertically. Of course, you can cut it out of a video like this, but the only problem in doing that is your face is going to be a lot closer up. So unless you have a lens that is super far away, you can totally chop it vertically, shoot it in the same thing. But I always recommend you make specific shot lists for the different platforms, just because, you know, the more work you put into it, the more I feel like people will get out of your video. Just going that extra mile really makes a difference. So we're gonna find a little area here to shoot in. And you also have to be flexible. So I had actually, my shot list that I'm filming for this video was gonna be shot over there. However, the lighting is not very good. So we're actually moving locations and I'm gonna set up the tripod somewhere else and show you guys what exactly I'm talking about. And you guys, the reason you want to be flexible is because sometimes the area that you had wanted to shoot in doesn't turn out as well as the area that you come across. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like behind me here. So as you guys can see, it is insanely beautiful behind me here. Okay, so just to show you guys a real life example of getting content here for multiple things. So I'm setting up the camera and I'm gonna do a vertical video first. We are working against the sunlight, so we have to move quickly. But I'm just setting my vertical video up here on a tripod. I'm gonna get my clips for what I need for this video, and then I'm going to put my camera, normally this would be my camera, but I'm shooting on my camera, so we're using my phone as a stand-in. Then I would just put it sideways, film the clips for that, move to my next location, film that. You can even have your script for your video printed out on a piece of paper so it's really clear. I use my note app because obviously it's easy to have your phone, but say for example, if you were shooting on your phone, you might want to print it off so you have all the talking points to go off of. All right, so I filmed the clips I needed to film, and then I'm also getting a thumbnail while I'm here for this other video that I'm filming because it's super beautiful. So I'll often take just like a range of shots, and I haven't decided quite yet what thumbnail I want to use for this. So I'm just going to take a bunch of different ones and then I can decide later. First step, you want to find a nice background, or alternatively, you can use a plain wall, white wall, beige wall, and then Photoshop yourself onto a different background. However, if you're in front of a beautiful background, already filming, you may as well try and get a thumbnail. So since this video is talking all about creator tips, I do want to have a camera in my hand, and then what I like to do is a very expressive face. So I am going to hold it up like I'm vlogging and go like this. And I'm actually going to take a screenshot from this video. That's a little tip. You don't actually have to take a photo. You can take a screenshot from a video. And you obviously want the thumbnail to be very eye-catching. So you want to make sure that you're wearing something that does stand out. I actually intentionally wore this coat because it's quite bold, pops against the background. So when picking out a thumbnail, I also try and pick out a shot where I'm actually looking at the camera. So I'll show you guys the difference now. So you can see here, if I'm looking here, it's not as engaging versus if I'm looking here, you know, and making my usual shocked face. It just adds, oh my gosh, I'm stepping down the mountain. It just adds a little bit more of that personalization, really draws you in, or at least I think so. But you guys, it is getting a little chilly on this mountain and the sun is going down, so we're gonna head back home and keep talking about these tips. Next is to write out a content script, and you wanna make sure this includes effective hooks at the beginning. The first 3 seconds are the most important. Now, your content scripts might look a little bit different depending on whether you're posting on YouTube, TikTok, Reels, or even YouTube Shorts. I do find that TikTok and YouTube Shorts are pretty similar, and then Reels are definitely becoming more like how TikTok is. I would say the only difference right now is that Reels are still very aesthetic and kind of well put together, whereas TikToks are very raw and authentic. So having that perfectly curated, scripted video doesn't necessarily work for TikTok. So that's definitely something to consider when creating your content. Sometimes it's easy to just do the green screen filter on TikTok, where you basically have something in the background, you're talking very candid, very raw, and that usually hits with viewers a little bit better on that platform. Next is to create eye-catching thumbnails. Now, something that has always stuck with me was actually a podcast I had listened to with Mr. Beast, where he was saying that him and his team spend about 70% of their time coming up with the title and the thumbnail, and only 30% of the time filming, which honestly was crazy, but the click-through rate is the most important thing. That's getting people to come and actually click through your video, which oftentimes is the hardest thing to get people to do. So I'm gonna show you guys some examples. My dog is literally going crazy right now. I got a puppy, you guys, and she is losing her actual marbles. You guys, this is Peanut. She's a miniature wiener dog, and I love her. But she's just a puppy, so she does not like being away from mommy. No, she loves me very much and I love her, but it is difficult sometimes to get work done when there's a puppy screaming. Can you just sit? So someone whose thumbnails I kind of wanted to reference to, guys, who does a really good job and is honestly killing it in the YouTube space recently. His name is Aman, and he does these videos that have really clear but interesting thumbnails. You see the thumbnail and there's not too much going on. He honestly keeps it pretty plain. But that being said, you can tell he's putting a lot of work and effort into actually conceptualizing and coming up with these thumbnails. So he's not just throwing them together last minute. They're thought out, planned, and obviously perform very well. And then also just touching on TikTok and Reels, obviously the thumbnails on here don't matter as much. I would say with short form vertical content, you want to have text somewhere on the thumbnail to really show what that video is going to be about. So if someone does happen to come to your profile, they can immediately see what that video is about and then click on it and watch it if it interests them. Next, and most important, because this is how you are going to get paid, and that is to learn how to pitch brand partnerships. Now, I do have a free template on my website that shows you the exact email template I use to pitch brands for myself, so you guys can go and download it, have a look at it, and then use it for yourself. Nowadays, a lot of brands do use PR companies to actually do their brand partnerships. So having a list of PR companies that you can reach out to and introduce yourself is really key. And I mean, like with any job, you have to create that relationship. And once they get to know you, once they see your work, you will get then more stuff in your inbox. So it honestly took me, I would say, a few years when I started before I actually started getting stuff actually sent to me, inbound requests it's called. But that being said, now that content creation is a lot more common, if you're just doing the intro and then starting to really nurture that relationship, you'll probably start to see inbound requests a lot quicker. And nowadays too, I find a lot of brands actually favor micro influencers. So they don't want to work necessarily with people with hundreds of thousands or millions of followers even. They actually prefer to work with smaller creators, but then more of them, because that actually allows their ad dollars to go further and get in front of more eyes. So don't be worried if you don't have a ton of followers. That doesn't mean that you won't be able to get brand partnerships. It's actually quite the opposite. Now, my last and final tip is to always be analyzing your content and improving. With anything that you put out, there's always going to be room for improvement. But that being said, and a favorite saying of mine is it's better done than perfect. So yes, you can put in all of this work, do your best work, but a month from now, 2 months from now, you might know new skills. So your work's just gonna improve with time, but it's really important as well to actually go and look and see what videos of yours is performing and what's not. And not to say that if content's not performing to completely give it up, but if you find a certain type of content's performing and you really enjoy making that content, then keep making it. But the key is going to be that if you make a random video, for example, it does really well, blows up, and you hate making that type of content, don't keep making it. I've known a lot of creators, I even myself have gotten stuck in that before, where a video has gone viral and I'm like, all right, this is the type of creator I'm gonna be, but it's really not a great long-term strategy. So yes, those videos will get lots of views in the interim, but that being said, if you don't really love making that type of content, say if you have a tech video that goes viral and you wanna do fashion, it actually doesn't make sense to continue doing those tech videos, even though they're getting lots of views, because you wanna be a fashion YouTuber or a fashion TikToker. So really take that into consideration. Some of the most successful creators really spend spend a long time in the back end of their analytics, looking at what's working, what's not, where they're dropping off, and then improving it for the next video. And that's how they see so much success on their channel. So if you guys are looking to start your content creation career, make sure you head over to henrys.com. And if you're looking for some advice to get started, definitely visit some of the in-store experts, a lot of which are creators themselves. And these guys can help you on the start of your journey and answer any questions that you have. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to leave any comments you have down below, any questions, and I will do my best to answer all of them. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.